Welcome back to the collaboration space. I'm your host, Mathew DeFreitas. Today I'm joined by Kianna Pompa, Sony product manager for BRAVIA Professional Displays, to discuss why durability should be top of mind when choosing eco-friendly displays to support our sustainability initiatives. Kianna, welcome to the collaboration space.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you again for joining me. Kianna, can you share a little background on your role at Sony?
Sure. So I can't believe that I just hit 8 years at Sony this past September. I feel like time flies when you're having fun. But
Congratulations.
I started my journey here as a sales support engineer and now as a product manager for, yeah, like you mentioned, our professional displays. But in my early role, I really focused on helping partners and customers design and implement solutions that were both efficient and essentially scalable. That experience gave me a deep understanding on how technology choices impact total cost of ownership, energy usage, and of course, long-term sustainability. But now, as my goal of like a product manager, I basically grab those insights and then put it into a product strategy. So from everything I learned as a sales support engineer, now I can put it into practice and work with headquarters in Japan to basically ensure that our displays are aligning with the broader goals of sustainability and Sony's Road to Zero initiatives, as well as, helping our end users reduce, waste. And I'm really passionate about helping our customers achieve sustainability goals. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Kiana, thank you so much for sharing that background there. You touched on something that's similar in a way to what AVI-SPL offers. AVI-SPL has sustainability as a major focus, and as you mentioned, it's the same in a way for Sony. Can you share sort of the big picture plan or that Road to Zero initiative that you mentioned and the background on it?
Yeah, I think that it has been a really big trend within our industry to start documenting your road to zero and your eco-friendly, sustainable initiatives. Sony has been a very early adopter, and we do a checkpoint every year to see where we're at in our mission and goal. But basically, our road to zero is to achieve zero environmental footprint by 2050 across the entire Sony chain.
It's
So that's from,
ambitious.
yeah, it's a very ambitious. So that's from product design to like the end of life. So we split it up into four different perspectives. So the first one is climate change, so reducing like our greenhouse gases. So this is basically kind of like making sure that like even our buildings are eco-friendly in the way that we manufacture and have renewable energy. And then even to the down to the way that we design our products with higher efficiency and lower power consumption. And then number two would be resources. So this is how we can use more sustainable materials. I know we'll talk a little bit more about what we're using on our materials, but we've basically created our own type of materials that are up to 99% recycled materials to be reused in a lot of our technology. And then the third one is our chemical substances. So this is basically eliminating the use of hazardous materials. And we take in practice what's happening in Europe right now, where we have to basically publish any hazardous material that we do use. And there's basically different levels to those materials. And then even though it's not required here in the US, we publish it regardless because we are a global company. So following that hand in hand, and then biodiversity. So minimizing the environmental impact as a business operation as a whole, and supporting conservation projects. We actually have a whole separate team that is helping create different like crops and making them more efficient. It's like a whole different department. It's so crazy. I've been able to go to like Tokyo and see like the headquarters, and basically they have like a whole ecosystem where it's like a farm and how we're using cameras and AI to make sure that that's like sustainable. It's pretty crazy what they're achieving. So that's just a couple of things to highlight within that whole Road to Zero initiative. But for me, I really focus on our Pro Bravia displays so that how we can take that impact and apply all four of those perspectives into one single product. So we can talk a little bit
Awesome.
more about that if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you, Kiana, for that look behind the scenes of Sony's Road to Zero initiative. I could vividly picture the Tokyo experience that you had. It sounded really exciting. Just shifting gears though over to displays and the topic of today's discussion, looking at durability and eco-consciousness and eco-friendliness. When an organization is ready to explore investing in sustainable displays, what are the common elements that they should look for? And it's not something usually highlighted in connection to ESG or sustainability, but how does durability play into the selection process, or how should it rather be top of mind for organizations?
Yeah, I think that I'll focus really on our Pro Bravia displays since that's really like my forte. So I could kind of start off from like the very beginning of our product to like the end use for the end user. So I think that having an eco goal would be really top of mind. So when you're choosing your display, you would want to use a device that is eco-friendly, right? But how do we do that? So working with Sony and AVI-SPL, where we publicly publish all of our certifications. So, for example, our Pro Bravia display is Energy Star certified. We use recycled material on board the Pro Bravia display, like SORPLAS. I kind of touched a little bit on that earlier about how we use 99% recycled plastic. And it's actually really cool how SORPLAS came to be. Basically, we have the sister company. When optical discs became obsolete, we had excess amount of waste. So we thought, how do we basically take this material and repurpose it? So we took those optical discs, created it into recycled material, and it basically became 99% recycled plastic that is now currently used on our Pro Bravia displays, as well as alpha cameras and a couple of other products within our ecosystem. So it really shows hand in hand how our different BUs are collaborating to that, again, Road to Zero initiative. And then from there, I would say durability, right? I can't even tell you how many times I've been to different offices or campuses where they've had a Sony display that's like 20, 30 years old, still working. It's pretty crazy how long this product lasts. And we continue to do that within our products today. We have reinforced aluminum bezels. We think about all of our product packaging. We have product engineers that ensure that we have a great packaging to basically ensure that when it arrives to the end user, that it's not damaged. Again, reducing that waste to the end user. We don't want to just send you a unit and it's already broken, right? And then we have to send you a replacement and then we e-cycle one. So ensuring that from like our partners within the delivery system to our partners and integrators like AVI-SPL, ensuring that they know how to handle the packaging, having labels on the packaging to make sure that it stays upright, etc. And then from there, we're talking about the product life cycle itself. So in our Pro Bravia displays, what we've done now is that we have a system on chip on board, which is just basically a fancy way of saying that there's an operating system, so it acts as a computer. So now what we could do is to increase the life cycle of that product. That means we can have firmware updates. We can preload applications. So say, for example, digital signage. We work with an ecosystem of third-party partners where we can preload applications onto our Pro Bravia display. So that way you don't have to purchase an external device or external player. You can run all of that on board your Pro Bravia display and make it easier than ever to run it, and then also reducing waste, right? It's like lower cost of entry. You don't have to purchase something else, and then we also don't have to purchase another device that will have to be recycled in the future or upgraded in the future, right? So overall, it's great for the environment and great for the end user as well. So when we talk about eco dashboards, coming in our new models, we're going to have like temperature sensors, energy consumption, etc., that will give us even more insight to what the display is doing, and again, going hand in hand with our sustainability practices. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight. And I would say at the very end of the product life cycle, Sony has already thought of that. And we do have recycle-based programs where we have locations where you can take your device to get e-cycled as well.
Thank you so much, Kianna, for diving into all of those details and showing how, energy efficiency and durability really connect in the grand scheme of sustainability initiatives that organizations are trying to take today. Um, just again, thank you so much for your time to chat on this topic.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thanks to everyone listening and watching the collaboration space today. Be sure to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and your favorite podcast app. All you have to do is search the collaboration space. If you would like to know more about AVI-SPL or Sony's sustainability initiatives, you can find links to that content in our show notes below. Thank you and goodbye for now. For more information, visit avispl.com/Sony.